Breyerfest, Murrieta, California, and behind us, another Breyer 2021 model horse of a different color. It is Apollo del Solis, and I am on the Summer Ranch with Suzanne Summer. Suzanne, it's a beautiful day to be in California.
It is. Thank you so much for coming.
We can't wait to hear more about your handsome boy behind us. This year's theme is Horse of a Different Color, and I guess you could say his color not only is striking, as he is a beautiful shimmery gold, but also very unique.
He is. The pearl gene is one of the rarest genes out there. And of course, combining that with the Andalusian, you can't help but get something stunning.
He is a bay double pearl, which makes him very, very rare. Tell us about how this color came to be. I know you've been working with Andalusians for a long time, and really, you're the one that kind of made this happen, right?
Well, we were certainly there in the very beginning of the discovery of the gene. So back in 1989, when we first started Summer Ranch Andalusians, we had a stallion by the name of Bravio. He was an ordinary bay-looking horse, but unbeknownst to us, underneath all that beautiful brown was a secret hidden gene. Back in those days, we didn't have DNA testing yet, so we had no clue about it. But we were breeding to outside client horses. They had quarter horses. They would come with palominos or buckskins. And we would get horses that looked cremello. Mm-hmm. The babies would show up light with the bright blue eyes. Mm-hmm. And everything I had read and learned was that this was physically impossible. Mm-hmm. So I started calling UC Davis, and I think they thought I was just nuts in the beginning because I think they thought the wrong stallion
color, right?
Yeah,
right.
Just not possible. If you have a bay parent, you're not going to get a cremello. Mm-hmm. And it kept happening. And I think finally, after the DNA testing got started, they started to look at this and say, okay, something's up. And there was a geneticist by the name of Carolyn Shepard. And she was the first one that theorized that something was going on when you mixed Bravio with a horse that carried cream. Mm-hmm. And they came to the ranch. They started pulling hairs on our horses. And she specifically told UC Davis to look on that cream allele. And sure enough, that's where they found it. And at first they called it apricot because all these babies are born looking the color of apricots.
Right.
But since we had already started calling it pearl, they changed the name, and there we are. Pearl made history.
Wow, that's so fascinating. And he was born right here on the farm, is that correct?
That's correct. We have his mother here, and his sire was imported from Spain.
And his mother, what kind of gene does she carry? Because you specifically were looking for the bay double pearl, right?
That's correct. And his mother is a gray, carries the pearl gene. To look at her, you would never know that she carries anything unusual. We crossed her with Ray PM, who is a cream pearl combination. And they both just happened to throw their pearl, and here we are. We have our little sun god, Apollo.
And did you have any idea before he was born that you would get the double pearl, or you were hoping?
We knew there was a chance.
Okay.
And we were hoping, so we got lucky.
Talk about his career before he was a stallion. He was very successful at a young age.
He was. We got very lucky with him. We went to the Andalusian World Cup as a 2-year-old. He won his halter class. He was the champion, and he also got best movement honors.
He is a really beautiful mover, but his temperament and his trainability is also something that is very unique about him.
Oh, yes. Well, one of the things we pride ourselves on here is temperament. Mm-hmm. To me, that's number one, the very first and most important aspect. The coloring is just the icing on the cake.
Right.
So we want to see that temperament, and he definitely displays that wonderful, sweet, loves to be with people kind of personality.
And his color really is stunning. I mean, he's behind us, like making sure that we know that he's there, which it's hard to ignore him. But I think that if I could just take him with me the next time I go to the hair salon, and I could be like, can you please just replicate this exactly? I mean, talk about the mane and the tail. I mean, this is an Andalusian trait, but what gorgeous features.
Yes. Oh, definitely. And yeah, that hair color. I think we all wish we could go and get that.
what made them special as a breed for the Andalusians?
Well, they say that there's a legend that way back when the king pronounced that all gentlemen should ride stallions. Well, we all know that not all stallions are well behaved.
Right.
So one of the things that got the wonderful temperament that you see in our horses today is because back then they had to focus on that temperament because not all gentlemen were good riders.
And the last thing you wanted was to give a horse to a king that threw him off. And I doubt that would have ended well for you as a horse breeder.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about his personality. What is he like when he's just hanging out at the farm?
Oh, God, he's such a character. He's making faces. I swear he's got a sense of humor. I'll see him laughing at us when we do something silly. He'll stick his tongue out at us. He'll come over and just want to be touched. Mm-hmm. He loves to be around people. He's a real people-friendly horse.
And you said he's a bit of a clown sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And he does some tricks, is that right?
He does. And he likes to bow.
Well, why not? Because we should bow to him, really. I mean, if truth be told, we should bow to his excellence all the time, right?
To his royalty, to his royal bloodlines.
Yes, exactly. And he likes to play soccer?
He does. He's an avid soccer fan. We had a soccer ball here, and he would just go for hours, literally, with or without a rider on him. And he loved it. Always in control, but he loved to play.
And does he have any things that he likes as far as treats?
He loves peppermint. That's probably one of his favorites. And, of course, the good old-fashioned carrot.
I saw in some video that you had on your website that he's almost unflappable. Like you had trash bags and balloons and, you know, any horse is eligible to spook at anything, even if they haven't spooked at it 1,000 other times. Like all of a sudden a puddle is the Grand Canyon.
Right, exactly.
But he seems just unshaken by whatever.
Yep, so far he's been very brave. He's really displaying those royal bloodlines for us, and he's got lots of courage.
And how is he as far as training him to do new things?
Oh, he's very smart. It doesn't take long. Show him once, and you can see the light bulb start to go on. Show him twice. He's calculating now. You see it in the eyes, and by the third time, he's got it.
What do people say when they see him for the first time, given that, you know, 80% of Andalusians are gray, so he is, I guess, less than 0.1% or maybe 1/100%. So when people see him for the first time, what's the reaction?
He's definitely a showstopper. We do get people out on the streets. They'll stop their cars. They'll get out. They want to ask, oh, what is he? What color is he? Some people will confuse him for a palomino. You know, they'll try to guess. No, he definitely turns heads.
He's so striking to look at, and that's, I'm sure, one of the reasons why he was selected as a model for Breyer this year. He has this nice Breyer blanket on, and we have the model right here. I mean, it's, as you can see in the sun, it really, that pearlized finish is, I think it's a pretty good representation of him.
Oh, definitely. They did a beautiful job with it.
And how was the process to work with them? And, you know, you can see the various highlights and lowlights in his mane, which is
just
very
like he
representative of him, right? So how was the process to work with them as far as getting, I mean, this is such a unique color. It's not a bay horse.
Yeah.
You can, you know, just make sure you get the markings right. This was, it's a work of art, really.
Oh, it is. It is. And they made a little masterpiece out of it. And they were wonderful to work with. They really were. They sent me pictures. We kept going back and forth to make sure we got the colors just right. And we really were able to capture his essence. And they did a beautiful job of doing that.
And how did you find out he had been selected as a model?
I got a phone call. I was actually in my dirty old grubs going around the ranch throwing food to the horses, and the phone rang, and I had no idea who it was, and it was Jamie from Breyer, and she asked if we would mind if they made a Breyer horse out of Apollo, and it was like, mind? Are you kidding? This is like winning the Olympics for a horse breeder. This is big time. And I used to collect as a child. I have my adopted daughter is a big time collector. And so this was just a huge honor for us. I'm so flattered.
And when you collected, did you have any particular models or horses that were your favorites?
Oh, gosh, I was so young then, I probably didn't even know what it was I was getting. It was like, ooh, pretty horse,
right.
I want. And I had quite a few, and I've given most of them to my daughter, Sherry, and she's saving them for me, and we're going to have to get them all out on display now to go along with our Apollo model.
Well, he is certainly stunning to look at, and we appreciate your time and having us out here and sharing him with us and all the Breyer fans, and I think that he will be a very popular addition to a lot of people's collections because he sure is stunning.
Well, thank you so much. Such a pleasure to have you here.